Hey, this is Step Amit. Welcome to my Exorcism.io series. In this video, I'll be working through the Bob exercise from the Exorcism.io Ruby track. So Bob is a chat bot with the persona of a lackadaisical teenager. So he has a few responses based on the type of comment that you make to him. If you ask him a question, he answers, sure. If you yell at him, he answers, whoa, chill out. If you yell a question at him, he answers, calm down, I know what I'm doing. If you address him without actually saying anything, just an empty string or space, he says, fine, be that way. And anything else that you address to him, he will respond, whatever. So let me go ahead and grab this and pull it down and let's get started. Get rid of the Bob file so I can start pure. And open up my test file. Whoops. Incidentally, that rake file, if you want to know what it is, it just all it does is run the test file in here, the test RB file. That's why I always copy it in here. I'm gonna let me look at this first before I run the first test. I see that what we have is a Bob class inside of a bob.rb file with the class level method hey that takes a string and replies with a string as well. And I think that is it. All right, we got a bunch of tests here. I'll go ahead and run the first one. Of course, it's going to fail because I deleted that file. So let me create it and swap my panes so that I've got my class on the left and my test running pane on the right. Next error is an initialized constant Bob. Oops. Try that again. All right, undefined method hey. Hep. It's going to complain now because we actually need to accept a remark, which I will call remark, because that's what they did. And I need to reply with the string, starting with whatever. Cool, let's move on to the next one. All right, so, okay, next test shouting, we're gonna shout, and Bob needs to reply differently, and this isn't gonna work because we're replying whatever. All right, cool. So we can get started here. And when I look at this, I see that I have a set of responses that depend on a pattern that I'm given. And so that tells me that I probably want to check against a regex. I want to check my string to see if it matches a regular expression for each of these. So I'm going to try to set that up for each of these and just see what I get. And whatever is sort of the default case. And so I'll start building this out with basically treating these as like guard clauses where I will return a response if it matches. So in this case, I'm going to return watch out if this matches. So it's going to be if shout, let's say. Otherwise, I'm going to return whatever. Now, of course, this is going to fail because shout doesn't mean anything. And in fact, right now, because I'm in a class level convenience method, instead of doing a separate refactoring here, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this into a class because it will be a lot easier to work with. So let's just go back. I want to refactor from green to green. So I'm going to recomment out that test. And then I'm going to simply convert this to a convenience method that initializes an instance of my Bob class and simply calls hey. And in order to get that to work, I'll create an adder reader for my remark. I'll initialize, define an initialize that takes remark as an argument, and then set my instance variable. And then what I need to do is simply create the instance method hey. That right now all it does is reply whatever. But now that I've got this here, I can do what I wanted to do before. I can return whoa, chill out if shout. So if I've been shouted at. Now, of course, let me go ahead and comment this guy and comment that test, or comment out that skip. This is going to fail because there is no shout a method. So I can define that though. Let's see, I'm going to make this a private method so it's not part of the surface area of my class. Shout. And what I'm going to check is that remark matches a regular expression. And what I want to know is that there are only uppercase letters or non-word characters, I think, is what I want to say. So no, I want to know that there are, because that'll fail if there are no uppercase characters. I want to know that there are some uppercase, that there are uppercase characters, that there are no lowercase characters, and there can be anything else though. So, all right. When you're trying to figure out something like this, I like to use a tool here just to kind of test it out. This this is regex101.com is where you can find this. And you know, it's like, okay, look, it's like an ECMAScript or PHP. That's okay. Most of these implementations are similar enough that it works for my purposes. And so what I think you can just start playing with this here. So this example, watch out, and look, you can put multiple lines. So I don't want it to match on watch out, and I don't want it to match on 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, exclamation. And there's probably not always going to be an exclamation at the end, right? Shouting isn't always that. Shouting is sometimes, in fact, we've got like our next test shouting gibberish is literally just uppercase letters. So we'll worry about that in a minute, but, so I want to know that matches too. And so, I want to know that starting from the beginning of my string, and what I need to use here in my regex is a look ahead. Well, I mean, first what I can do, the first thing I thought to do was to simply check A to Z or non word characters, one or more, I guess, of these, one or more, and that's all that's here. Well, actually, that works for these examples. So let's start with this. And then that'll take us as far as it will, and we'll probably have to do something else. So let me go ahead and start with that as the example. Run this. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Match. Yeah. You got to call the right method. Match. Remark. Dot match, didn't I? Oh, I was being stumped by a misspelling there. Okay, cool. So that actually works. I think that'll be good enough for this one as well, according to regex101.com. I think at some point we might need to modify that regex. I'm pretty sure we're going to need to do something more advanced. Okay, test asking a question is going to fail because we are not checking that yet. So we're going to need to do something else. And I'm going to go straight to implementing this because I think all we need to know. So return, what's this going to be? Sure. If question. All right. Question A. Question A is remark match. Anything, but we want to end with a question mark. We need to escape that because that's a special character in regex. I think that will work. All right. Asking a numeric question. Okay, I think that will work. Test asking gibberish. That's also a question, so that will work. Test talking forcefully. I think we're going to be good here. Test using acronyms in regular speech. It's okay if you don't want to go work for NASA. Should reply whatever. I think that will pass. All right. Test a forceful question. We're not dealing with forceful questions yet. So this is, I think, gonna reply, whoa, chill out. Because our shout, no, whoa, wait a second, calm down. It replied, sure. Okay, yeah, because question comes first in our list of checks here. So what we want to do is we want to reply with calm down. I know what I'm doing. Okay, let me calm down. I know what I'm doing if forceful question. So let's implement forceful question. Remark will match. And I think it's going to be, actually, let me just copy this, but we're going to end with a question. So it's going to look just like our shout, but end with a question. I think that will do it. Yep. All right. Test shouting numbers. Let's see. Whoops. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, go should give us whoa, chill out. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Okay, it actually failed with whatever, shouting numbers. So we can shout numbers. So, okay, let's look at this example. Let me come back. Let's go back to our regular expression tester here, and I want to add this. 1, 2, 3, go. So in addition to non-word characters, our regular expression, our shout regular expression can contain numbers. Okay. This, wait a second. I see. I added an extra open bracket there that I don't need. I think it's going to get us in a second. I think there's probably going to be a test that's similar to this because we don't actually have any uppercase letters here. But for now, if by simply modifying our shout regex to also take 0 through 9. And let's add that to the forceful question as well. That'll get us past this test. Test no letters should be whatever. Yeah, okay, there we go. This is where that regex gets us. This is where it catches us. So in this case, what we really need to do is not simply, so here's the problem. Everything inside of this bracket, oh yeah, look, and you get a good explanation over here of what's going on. Match a single character present in the list below. So we give it a list here inside of these brackets, I mean, the square brackets. We've got A to Z, a non-word character 0 through 9. This means that any of these can be present in order for this to trigger. So if a phrase contains any combination of these things, it will trigger a match. But that's not what we want. We want there can be any of these, but there has to be uppercase letters. So in order to do that, where you've got sort of an and, you're saying, look, this must be present anywhere in this regular expression, no matter what else is present. You have to do something called a look ahead. So let me go ahead and take A through Z out of here. I think everything else holds as far as these go, but the way you define one of these things is question mark followed by equal sign. This is a look ahead. Let me close these parentheses. Yeah, positive look ahead over here. It's null right now. A positive look ahead, which I from my understanding of it, again, I'm not a regex expert, but it means that you've got to have this has to be present. So I can do A to Z in here, and actually I think I need to say that it can be anything before it, followed by A to Z. And really it has to be followed by, well, why is this not matching? Let's see. Positive look ahead. Assert that the regex below matches any character except for line terminators, any number of them. It has to match at least a single character in this range. Do I need to put parentheses around these guys? No, that's not it. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Got it. So there's something else I need to do because it can contain anything else except for lowercase letters. And so in order to eliminate something, we need to use a different kind of look ahead. Not the positive look ahead, but a negative look ahead. We want to say that whatever is in here, that this is not a match. So this is going to say, I have to put lowercase letters in here. Here we go. So this is what I want. So this is pretty complicated. What the positive look ahead says is that our regular expression must contain this. So anything followed by at least a single uppercase letter. And what the negative look ahead says is that it cannot contain a lowercase letter. And I think if I take, what happens if I take these? Yeah, so it has to be anything followed by a lowercase letter. So there has to be an uppercase letter. There can't be a lowercase letter. But other than that, there can be anything. And it'll be happy. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to change both the shout and then the forceful question, because if you remember, the forceful question is simply again, I'm gonna say this again. I've been saying this in every video. I built a new keyboard, and the layout's a little bit different from what I'm used to. So I keep, if it looks like I'm terrible at Vim, I mean, maybe I am, but really what's going on is keys are not where I expect them to be. Okay, so who failed here? I've got one failure, and it is the test on line 57. So it's this one. It's the forceful question is not matching. All right, so let me look. Our regex for this is this, and our forceful question is this guy. I'm going to write it here at the bottom. What's going on? Well, that matches. Calm down. I know what I'm doing. Oh. Wait, yes. What's going on is the remark. Forceful question is, oh. I've got an extra end of the line character there, extra $sign. Okay. Let's keep going. Test question with no letters. Question with no letters. I think this will pass. Shouting with special characters, I believe will pass. Will be okay. Shouting with no exclamation mark is fine with me. Fine and dandy. Test statement containing question mark. A statement with a question mark in the middle. That's fine. Non-letters with a question. Yep, that'll work. Test prattling on. Wait, hang on. Are you sure you're going to be okay? Yep, that's fine. That'll pass. Test silence. Okay, we haven't done this yet. This will be our next thing we have to implement is the fine be that way response when we pass silence. That's going to fail. So let me go ahead and add another case here to the beginning. Return fine be that way if silence A. And silence is going to be that remark.match. Oh no, empty. Remark.empty is all we need to do. I just want to know that there's nothing there. Okay, cool. Test prolonged silence. All right, this will fail. But that'll be easy enough to fix. What we want to do is really just normalize this on the way in. And I can never remember exactly what method and string I want that gets rid of all of the white space. Is it strip? Yes. Leading and trailing white space remove returns a copy of the receiver with the leading and trailing white space removed. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to strip that. And that didn't work. Strip. Did you mean strip? So, oh. You probably saw that, and if we were pairing, you would have said you wrote string. And I would have gone, what? Oh. But that's okay, because my test told me. All right, test alternative silence. Remark. So I think this will be fine. I think strip will remove tabs because tabs are white space. A multiple line question. All right, this is going to fail because these new lines are going to, we're going to get to the end of like this. When our regular expression sees the new line character, it's going to match on this $sign at the end. And so here, I think this one we're going to get the silence response. Fine, be that way. Because we have a new line right at the beginning. Oh, actually, no, it got sure. So it ignored the first one. Oh, because we stripped. Because we're stripping. We're stripping, so the input on the way in. So this one gets cut. This one in the middle, though, doesn't get cut. And our regular expression is matching on $sign. I mean, question mark, $sign right here. And so this is a question, but it's not a question. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of new lines. And, we're already doing this work here at the beginning to strip the input. I'm just going to add a G sub to get rid of new lines and replace it. I'm just going to get rid of them. I'm just going to chop them out. It would help if I actually put quotation marks around, oh, okay, this didn't work. Why? That's not it, is it? Ah, okay, yeah. So it needed to be in double quotes for this to be interpreted as a new line character. In single quotes, it was just treated as a literal \n. So that's what was going on there. All right. Test starting with white space. Okay, that should be fine. That'll work. Test ending with white space. That'll pass. Test other white space. I think that'll work just fine. Test non-question ending with white space. I don't know why that would make a difference. And that's it. Oh, man. That was some pretty thorough tests. I feel pretty good about what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and shut the test pane and just leave this open over here and do some quick refactoring. First of all, I want to get these strings out of here, these string literals, and I want to replace these with, let's see. I mean, I want to replace them with a hash constant, I think. A constant hash called replies. And then I'll just simply look up the reply that I want. And so this first one, let's see. I'm going to call this replies silence. All right. I just keep doing the same thing. Replies, forceful question. Replies question. You may notice I'm continuing to put those replies in alphabetical order up there. This is going to be replies. Shout. And then the final reply is whatever. I could also call it default, because that's kind of his default is just to say whatever. That's what he replies to everything. You know, I'm still not sure about this. I think in fact, yeah, I'm going to call it default. I'm going to call this default. That makes more sense to me. It's not whatever. That's not meaningful to me to call it whatever. But default is meaningful to me because it's what I'm going to return if there's nothing else. That's the reply. If there's no other reply, is default. Reply silence, forceful question, shout. All right. I think the next thing that I want to do is get these regexes out of the code and into constants. So I'll call this one forceful question regex. Pattern. How about pattern? Forceful question pattern is that. Question pattern. Shout pattern. All right, and then it's empty. Forceful question pattern. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really don't like this here. I mean, it's okay. And there is this order, right? There has to be this order for how they're processed. But it's, to me, this isn't a lot better than a case statement or a switch in other languages, or even a big if else. I mean, it reads a little bit better. It doesn't have all the nesting. And the order here is important because I haven't defined exclusive regexes. I mean, I guess we could do that. We could go the extra way to make sure that they are exclusive, so that the forceful question doesn't have to come before the shout, so they could come in any order. And then what I might use is polymorphism, so that I've got a set of classes that are each small. They each know how to handle a given input. And then I might call it like a replier or something. It would be a like what would an example of one of these be? Like I might have a shout replier that has that takes an input and it just knows how to handle it. It might have a method, handles or matches that takes a remark, and it could decide whether or not it handles it, or you could even, and you would have a registry of those things, and you could step through, and you could either ask them, hey, do you match? Do you handle this? Or you could even just execute it and let it say, no, I don't handle this, and that'll pass it on to the next one. And the first one that processes it, that's what gets returned. I don't know, something like that. All right, so this works. This is one way to handle it. I might do a follow-up video in which I refactor this to use polymorphism to solve this. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. And hey, one other thing, again, if you either let me know in the comments if you could clearly read what was on my screen, or if you could not clearly read what was on my screen. And in either case, whether you could read it or not, let me know what device you watch this video on. Did you watch it on your phone, on a laptop, on a big monitor? How did you see it? And were you able to read it? Did you have to squint? And is there something I could do to make it clear, things look clearer to you? If not, all right. I'm going to go ahead and submit this off camera, and I will see you in the next video.